So we are now 3 weeks away from The Legend of Zelda Tears the Kingdom coming out, and hype levels, I would say, online are through the roof, whether it's looking through any little bits of footage, going still by still, full-on analysis, pulling 30 minutes out of literal seconds for some of these trailers. But it's compelling stuff, and people are ready for this game to come out. And now we're starting to see a different kind of leak get out there. At least that's according to some places online. And I wanted to discuss this today because there is certainly a bit of concern right now around spoilers for this game and things getting out early. And that includes the entire game itself. We're going to go over that here today. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you like it and subscribe if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel. So first of all, let's discuss where all of this is coming from, because I started to get a lot of messages around Zelda leaking out. People were really worried. They're like, okay, we're 3 weeks away and the game's already out online, or at least somebody has it, which as soon as a game for the Switch breaks street date, there's a very good chance that a day later it'll probably be online. And once it gets online and people can download it and then play it on their own modified Switch, it's over. If it's a anticipated game, it's gonna get spoiled online in some way. Now, it also comes down to how many people are really invested in the title, as in how many people have been looking forward to it versus how many people just don't really care that much about it. Like, Advanced Wars came out yesterday. It didn't leak online, believe it or not. And I think that's just because, well, look, I'm happy that Advanced Wars is here. I'm excited to play it whenever Amazon decides to actually deliver it to me, because they did that thing where they say, hey, it'll be at your house before 10 p.m. And now it's not coming until Wednesday. So, hey, Amazon release day shipping. What can you do? But because it didn't have the kind of pull as something like Tears of the Kingdom, people legitimately didn't bother trying to get it early by having a place break street date or it walking out the back door at a warehouse in distribution. But there was a screenshot being passed around now for Tears of the Kingdom, which we can see here. And this was just posted up by somebody on Twitter, and it started to blow up to where even a couple of websites covered it. It started to show up on forums, then it kind of snowballed from there, where at King says, well, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been obtained. Prepare for leak. So as soon as you see that screenshot with some of the text there, you assume this person has the game because they're taking a picture of their own Switch and they're about to just start leaking stuff, whether it's story spoilers, items, elements to the game with what's basically like the crafting, the fusion stuff we're seeing. There's a lot in this game that, while we have a better understanding now after that final trailer, that most recent trailer, there's clearly a lot of stuff that was taken out of context in that trailer and other things that we don't know about in the game itself. Hence, a lot of the 30-minute analysis videos from like 10 seconds of new footage that's been getting out there. Well, to add a little bit more context to this tweet, they go on further to explain this is not their screenshot, all right? They got it from somewhere, which people started to reverse image search it. It didn't appear anywhere, and obviously this image is now going through a lot of scrutiny when it comes to, is it photoshopped? What's going on here? Because the idea of a physical copy for Tears of the Kingdom getting out there now is a bit hard to believe. And some were wondering, could this be a review copy? Well, Nintendo hasn't sent physical review copies for games in, I want to say 3 or 4 years now. I mean, they used to do it all the time for the 3DS specifically, but they have actually been changing somewhat as they've gone along through this generation, as essentially they've learned more and more that, hey, when we send review codes out, games seem to leak. It's very interesting. Very interesting set of events there that seem to keep happening. So they've been doing a bit more to counteract that. Part of that has to do with them just going with digital codes. They have a lot more control in that sense. So first of all, you see a physical cartridge symbol there above that icon, which so that would mean somebody got the cartridge itself. And then people started to post their own screenshots of this. Like, take a look at this one. Somebody has it right here. Could they have preloaded it? It's possible, I guess, and that's what they're showcasing with this. And they also managed to get God of War Ragnarok on the Switch. Just incredible stuff happening here? Okay, to be fair, a lot of these mock-ups and Photoshop jobs have been going on for a while, to where you see things like this and you're like, okay, it's like the wish list, quote unquote, of releases on the Switch. But you'll notice this is kind of taken off screen, like it's someone's taking it just like a screenshot of their Switch with like your phone or whatever, take a picture of it. But the thing that's really funny about this entire situation with this and that, it's actually pretty easy to change the icon on your Switch to whatever you want, as well as the text above it. So you can fake this incredibly easy. None of this is difficult to do if you have a hacked Switch. And in fact, if you're watching this and you have one, you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, it does have the icon at the top there for a physical cartridge being inserted into it. But again, I've also checked around, talked to some people, and you can still kind of do that otherwise. There's also the possibility this is completely Photoshop. Still a possibility there, but I think more or less what we are seeing in this picture, if I had to guess, is somebody kind of playing around with a modified Switch, changing out the icon and just kind of putting the image out there online and just kind of let it breathe and sort of create its own mystery around it, which has evolved into the point of people thinking that Zelda is just out there and leaks are about to follow. So no, I don't believe that the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has leaked at this time, even though the system leaked way in advance. I think Nintendo's taking a bit more caution when it comes to the game itself. If the game was bundled in with that system and that was happening on release day, it all releasing at the same time, then I don't think that system would have gotten out there as early as it did. I do believe, though, that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will leak early. It's happened with a lot of Switch games, and this is the most anticipated title for the entire generation. At least that's what I would say. It feels like everything with this generation has been building up to this sequel for Breath of the Wild, which was a fantastic launch title, exploded the entire franchise to new sales records and all. People don't realize The Legend of Zelda hasn't been a massive seller for Nintendo. It's sold well enough, but not to the level of Breath of the Wild, nowhere near that. So it does feel like everything's been building up, the install size, the software sales that we see consistently, and this really strong intellectual property that's found, even you could say, new life with Breath of the Wild coming out. So what I'm trying to tell you is a lot of people are going to be on the lookout for early copies. And that doesn't mean it even has to break street date at a retail store. It could legitimately find its way out of distribution in the warehouse. It could fall off the back of a truck. There's a lot of ways for this to get out there early, and when it legitimately does, then it's all bets are off. As soon as it gets dumped to the internet, data mining will happen. People will speed run the game as fast as they can just to post the 3 or 4 minute ending online for you to get spoiled with a random pop-up on YouTube. But when that does happen, I will, of course, let you guys know spoiler free. So make sure you're subscribed here to kind of keep up to date on the Tears of the Kingdom mayhem, because we had a bit of a false alarm this time, but something tells me here in the next couple of weeks, we'll have the actual thing get out there. But a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below, with a screenshot getting out there that kind of had the internet holding their breath for a bit until they looked a bit more into it. I think we're good for now. But hey, in the off chance, while I'm 99% sure this is a fake, in the 1% chance that this ends up being real, again, I'll keep you guys up to date and let you know. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.